to Startuprad.io, your podcast and YouTube blog covering the German startup scene with news, interviews, and live events.
Hello and welcome everybody. This is Joe from Startuprad.io, your startup podcast and YouTube blog from Germany, bringing you another interview together with Hessen Trade and Invest and the Enterprise Europe Network Hessen. Before we go into that, I would like to welcome our returning guest, Rafael. Hey, how you doing?
Hello, glad to be here.
Totally my pleasure. We have two service announcements before we get started. We have a new partner exclusive for Startuprad.io listeners. Did you know that on average a blog gets you way more traffic than a social media post? We have a special deal with moderniqs.com where Startup Radio listeners can create 2 free SEO optimized blog posts per month in less than a minute. You'll get the 2 free posts for your blog each month only if you use this link in the show notes. And there's some light technical difficulties, so please stay on the link when you sign up. Only then you'll get the 2 pieces. And of course, Hessen Trade and Invest and the Enterprise Europe Network Hessen. This recording was made possible by HTRI and the EEN Hessen. These organizations have made tremendous contributions to helping startup businesses succeed and thrive, providing a range of services from helping to find grants to ongoing partnerships. By taking advantage of these resources, startup companies can network and develop innovative strategies for success on the international stage. The dedicated support of HTRI and the EEN is paramount in providing startup businesses with the tools for lasting success. Look for our dedicated sub-podcast in partnership with them called Tech Startups Germany. Whew. Now that we got this out of the way. Rafael, I already said that you are a returning guest. Can you give us a little brief introduction to who you are and your company COMPREDICT, what it does?
Sure. So I'm Rafael. I'm the CTO of COMPREDICT. I did a PhD at the Technical University in Darmstadt, and together with my colleague, we founded then COMPREDICT. It's all based. The basic idea is based on his PhD thesis. And what COMPREDICT does are virtual sensors. So this is a piece of AI software which can be used to replace hardware sensors in vehicles. So for instance, replace TPMS sensors which measure the pressure in tires, or replace a pitch angle sensor which measures the pitch of the vehicle and is used for headlight leveling. Virtual sensors can also be used to enhance the measurement capabilities of the vehicle. So for instance, you can measure forces and torques at different points on the vehicles with virtual sensors, or you can use this more for predictive maintenance use cases, like measure the remaining tire tread depth and measure how thick the brakes are and how thick the brake pads are.
I have to admit, I didn't know that there is even something like a pitch angle sensor in a car, which kind of outed me as a non-engineer and not a car aficionado. I get in the car, I drive, I get out of the car.
Yeah, in order not to blind people, you have to measure the pitch angle of the vehicle, because headlights nowadays are much more powerful than they used to be 10, 20 years ago. So if the car has the wrong pitch angle, it will blind people. So there's a sensor for that. And this sensor costs around 15 euros per vehicle. And this can be replaced by a virtual sensor, for instance.
I see that we are already at the business case because you guys do it cheaper. But before we get into that, yes, you're a returning guest. Yes, in the past, we interviewed you because BlackBerry and Michelin invested in you. But this time you announced a Series B funding of, am I right, 15 million US dollar, something like 13 something million euros?
Yeah, so something like that. Yeah, 13, I think almost 14.
Almost 14 in June this year, 2024. And we already introduced you to our audience in September 2022. It's already 2 years ago. Can you believe it? It's incredible.
Yeah, time flies. Yeah.
Yeah, time flies. That's true. The main anchor point is now that you that you got an investment Series B, and we'll talk a little bit through what this changes for you, what you're planning to do with the money and all that stuff, especially given the current environment. At the time of recording this on the 25th of September 2024, there is a big discussion out there, especially Germany's largest car manufacturer, VW, is even considering to close plants, which is something nobody thought about even a year ago, that something like this can happen. So there is at least the idea of a crisis in German car manufacturing. So that's something we would touch. We skip all the introduction and COMPREDICT, but we'll link down here in the show notes our amazing interview 2 years ago with Michelin, BlackBerry, and newly Woven Capital among your investors. Has this impacted your market position and credibility in the automotive industry? Because everybody in the automotive industry knows, oh, Michelin, yes.
Yeah, maybe most people don't know that behind Woven Capital is Toyota. So of course, having the biggest automotive manufacturer interested in your virtual sensors, this gives us a lot of credibility. So yeah, this is great for us. Yeah, and we work together with Toyota closely, and of course with the Woven team as well. Yeah, this gives us a lot of credibility and a lot of traction, which we have also used to get our first series application deal. So our virtual sensors will be in series production vehicles.
Can you already tell which manufacturer? Maybe Toyota?
No, it's actually our first series production deal is with Renault, Alpine, and Dacia. So the whole Renault group. So these vehicles will get virtual sensors for tire wear and brake wear, and we will be providing them. So this has also given us a lot of credibility and traction. So, and I think we're the first virtual sensor company to have such a major deal.
That is pretty cool. First heard it on Startup Radio, by the way. We've been already sliding in our second question about product development and expansion. So, if you go into the serial production of cars, this is a totally different ball game than, for example, when you have just some experimentation or small series. What was different for you? Because that is something you're talking about the tires, talking about the brakes. It's not just like you hear a strange sound when you are responsible for the audio, but this is really essential to keep the car secure and keep it on the road. So, what have been some of the challenges, and what did you learn there in order to get like into serious production of cars?
Yeah, so of course the main challenge is to be able to guarantee the precision across of millions of vehicles. Yeah, so this can only be solved by extensive testing. This is what we have done, and there was a lot of work put in from the team. So thanks to the team, this was a lot of great work and a lot of testing. So there's no shortcut into getting a deal like that. The product has to be good, and it has to deliver precise results with millions of vehicles. Yeah.
You now do have quite a lot of funding on the company account, right? But by the way, I talked once to somebody who got a really big investment, and he said with a small investment, you buy something like a PlayStation and a kicker table for the office. Did you also buy something like really small for the team from there? And what are you planning to do with all the money, especially given the current situation in Germany? I just listened to the news this morning and it kind of looks like a zero growth, a stagnation here within Germany.
Yeah, so we've already bought a billiard table, but a couple of years ago. Yeah, so you got to have some startup cliche thingy in the office. So
do you also have beanbags?
No.
No.
No, not so much. We just have the billiard, the pool table. Yeah. Yeah. Regarding the second part of your question, yeah. So the if I understood correctly, you were asking about the times in the market for VC funding is a little bit more tight than 2 years ago or 3 years ago, right? Yeah. So we of course see that, and we of course adapt our growth plans according to that. So we will hire new people. This is what the money is for, but maybe not as quickly as we intentionally planned. But be a little bit more cautious, because you always have to take into account with this market situation that rising the next round will take longer, probably.
Yes, Series C is also a pretty serious step, because then you're big, then you're thinking about buying other companies, merging with other companies, going really big. That is a serious step. But also Series B is a pretty serious step. Usually a rule of thumb is 10 million annual recurring revenue, and then you're good to go. I was wondering when you've been planning for this, because most people who are listening will know this, because more than 90% are listening for professional reasons to Startup Radio, according to our audience survey. If you do so, please go down here in the show notes and leave us feedback. There is a new feedback form that we just set up 2024. But for the people who are not that familiar with it, so basically you have an idea, what you want to do. You have an amount of money, what you want to do with it. Did you also work with different scenarios, like best case, mid case, worst case? What the minimum amount was you were willing to raise, and the maximum amount you could work with? Were that some thoughts that went through your mind in the preparation of the fundraising?
Yes, of course, we had extensive discussions about that. Yeah, so how to structure the round. You don't want to. You just want to raise the exact amount you need for the next 2-3 years. Yeah, so if you raise too much, you basically given away too many shares at a too low price. If you raise too little, you cannot reach your goals. Yeah, so we did some extensive planning, and also talking with the investors to be at what we think is the right spot for our journey for the next 2 or 3 years. Yeah.
That was one of the important points that I want to make here, because you said you talked to your investors, so the already existing investors. You guys know us. Is this realistic? That is something you should definitely do, because otherwise, go ahead.
I mean, yeah, they have a lot of experience. They talk to a lot of startups. They have experience for the market. They know what is possible to raise. So yeah, do talk to your investors as much as possible when preparing a round.
You already said you took some steps due to the current condition. You're not hiring at fast. Did you also do some stuff to reduce your burn rate? For example, limited or cut plans for international expansion or something like this?
No, we will still do international expansion, especially in of course, since Toyota invested in Japan and also the US, but with smaller teams. So yeah, but yeah, we are pretty strong in Europe. We also have a good foothold in Asia. We start to get traction in the US, but we need, as you say, boots on the ground, especially in Japan and the US, to really scale there as well.
Nothing really substitutes personal contact.
That's true.
That we are actually sliding into the next question I have for you. You plan to hire in the coming month. Can you give us an idea of the roles and focuses? Because we're not going into too much detail because everybody who's interested in joining ComPredict, you'll find links to your career website down here in the show notes, wherever you're listening to this or watching this. And if you're listening on our internet radio station, Startup.radio, Google for our blog.
All right. Yeah, I can give you a short overview on who we plan to hire. Of course, we plan to hire in key tech positions. Yeah, we always look for good tech people.
Since we do have usually SaaS and AI software startups here, technical positions for you are more automotive engineers, or are they real tech talent like coders, developers?
No, it's kind of multifaceted with us. So we have real we have automotive engineers,
like real engineers.
No, that's not what I meant. So we have automotive engineers who have experience in vehicle dynamics and really know the physics of the vehicle. And then we have a strong AI and machine learning team who really know the ins and outs on how to structure models, how to prepare the data, and things like that. So these are the two groups who work together. And then we have also like a team which is also more focused on the product and everything which is needed for the product, like data engineering, DevOps, front end, and things like that. But yeah, so we are basically looking for people in all positions, especially since we also go into series production. We look for people who have experience in the whole software architecture of the vehicle, and also prolific in C coding, which is still the main thing if you want to run something on a vehicle, since it's so efficient. Yeah, and yeah, and of course, since we start building our sales organization, we'll be looking for salespeople in Japan and also the US.
I was wondering, because we're now touching the point geographic expansion, which we actually already discussed. I was wondering, were you planning to set up base? Because everybody who thinks about automotive in the US thinks about Detroit, or is it for you more important to be in a software environment? Think Silicon Valley, San Francisco Bay Area, or the Silicon Alley in New York City. What are your decision points here?
Yeah, this is a tough question, actually. So there's still a lot of big players in Detroit, of course, and they're catching up quickly to I would say the more software players like Tesla or Rivian or things like that. So there's no clear answer to that. Yeah, you have to be everywhere all at once. Yeah, so yeah, there's no easy answer to that. Yeah.
We're talking about virtual sensors here. They're evolving quickly. How do you stay ahead of technological advancement and ensure you stay competitive? What we're seeing right now in the news is something like Intel is really fighting to stay competitive, and they have been the epitome of innovation, of technology for decades. So it can happen to everybody. And I was wondering, how do you start already implementing this into your company culture?
Yeah, you kind of answered your own question. Yeah, you have to heavily invest into innovation, of course, and this is what we do. Yeah, so we have a big research and development team, always work to improve our virtual sensors, to on the one hand make them smaller so that they can run on ECUs directly in the vehicle. On the other hand, make them more precise. So yeah, innovation is absolute key in this area. Yeah.
I'm always interested in how you get your customer acquisition, your clients, but I do believe it's also, since you're B2B, like 99% of our guests are B2B, so it's always a little different game. You cannot just spam those people. That usually doesn't work and gets you at least with the IT administrators on the naughty list. And so, and also in terms of car manufacturing, there is not like a gazillion of them, so you cannot really step on their toes and annoy them too much. How do you approach sales there?
Yeah, so this is also a very good question. So networking is
try my best.
Networking is you have to build your network, and you have to reach people who are high up in the hierarchy at the automotive OEMs. So this is the key to making a successful B2B sale, and this just takes time. Yeah, that as I said before, there are also no shortcuts in this area. So you have to be present at the most important conferences. You have to work your way up to the top of the hierarchy, so you get really good contacts. What really helps is what we also discussed at the beginning, that you get more credibility because you have great investors, and you get more credibility because you have signed big deals like a series production deal. So this helps to put you on the map of the important people. Yeah.
You said conferences, and after Corona, I had for a few months the impression that conferences are almost something of the past. You know, you had all those hangouts, all those virtual digital meetings, but actually nothing really substitutes direct contact. Not to mention specific events here. Especially in the car manufacturing area, they're also in the news when new models are introduced and stuff like that. But how did you, from the start, approach your research? What conferences are important?
Yeah, this is there was a lot of trial and error. Yeah, I cannot say that this was like a master plan from the beginning. And this is also dynamic. Yeah, a conference can be good the one year and not so good the year after. So there's a lot of trial and error. So, and I think right now we have found a set of conferences which where we meet the right people, but it's also good always to try something new as well, because yeah, there's always also luck involved. Yeah, that maybe you go to a conference which is a little bit off topic, but you find somebody there who could really help you out, or discover a field of collaboration you haven't thought about before. So there's always in conferences, it's always a little bit try and error, and there's always a little bit of luck involved. Yeah, but we try also to plan this as good as possible. But yeah.
I know that you try to plan an event, what you do, the people you want to meet, it all goes out the window at least 2 hours in the conference. And usually when you have a few like overarching goals, you still reach some of them. What I have to admit, what is an awesome tool are all those apps in conferences, so you don't need to look around always on the badges, who's this person, but you can also get directly in touch with them. Plus, I became a big friend of even reaching out to people after those conferences and sent them just basically a Calendly link, let's talk, if I haven't had the chance to meet them in person.
Yeah, so of course, once we decide to go on a conference, we we really plan it. So we really look up who's there, who we want to talk to. We use those apps as well, as you said. Yeah. So once we decide on a conference, it's well organized as well from our side.
Talking a little bit about the competition here. How do you differentiate your company from something like similar offers, maintenance, virtual sensors, or something like that? Because you're always in competition.
Yes, of course. There's always competition. Yeah, and as I said before, yeah, we are ahead because of our innovation potential. So we do a lot of R&D on virtual sensors. We believe we have the most precise and virtual sensors, which are able to be embedded directly in vehicles. And I think our strategy paid out since we, as far as I know, are the first to get a serious production deals for this topic.
I've read with many companies that they do have a certain set of rules for innovation, a certain innovation culture. Do you read a lot about this and try to implement it combined with a trial and error? Is this something that works for you?
We always try to, especially regarding AI, we always try to read all the interesting publications and papers in our field, so to be really up to date there and know what's going on, who has developed this. Yeah, for us, very important is all things around AI for time series applications. So this is where we really try to stay ahead. Yeah.
We're already getting close to the end, and you're holding up pretty well here. Thank you very much. In terms of working in real produced cars that are out on the street, you do have to comply with the regulations. Did you face some hurdles in the past, and how do you overcome them?
I mean, you have to have some certifications, and each certification is kind of a hurdle which requires a lot of work from a lot of people of the team, and also once you have gained a certain certification, people have to also stay on it. Yeah, you have to follow the processes, which of course makes you a little bit slower, but makes you also safer on the other side. There's always a trade-off. Yeah.
Fast and break things just doesn't work if you're in regulated business.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the software we deliver to series production vehicles just has to work. Yeah, we cannot risk having a big failure in millions of vehicles. So of course, certification is very important, especially regarding this.
And since you're working with tires and brakes, there are literally lives at stake. So I totally understand that you cannot accept.
I mean, you can be a little bit more creative and break things when it comes to research topics. Yeah, and you try out things, but as soon as we talk about serious production, things get more serious, of course.
Wordplay.
Not intended.
We're now getting towards the end of the interview. Before we get into our usual questions towards the end, there's just one more question I have prepared. The future roadmap. What milestones are you looking at in the next 2 or 3 years, except for raising a Series C funding?
Yeah, before raising a Series C funding, you have to bring yourself into the position to be able that you're interesting to the investors. And so our main goals are basically get more serious production deals for different virtual sensors. Yeah, get more automotive manufacturers on board, sign more series production deals. And once we have that, I'm quite positive about a Series C. But it's still a long way to go.
Thank you very much for like all the questions. You had a very, very busy time, and I've seen you very, very sleep deprived before we before in the discussion we had before this. Thank you very much nonetheless. We'll end up with our usual questions. I do believe question number one we already answered. You're always looking for talented people, and we link down here in the show notes your careers website, right?
Yes.
Yes. And not only the developers are welcome, but also the automotive engineers. Just out of curiosity.
And also salespeople, yeah.
Sales, of course, always salespeople. They'll give the greatest applications at all. Nonetheless, just out of pure curiosity, would you only be interested in people like with car background, or would you also be open to somebody who is experienced in motorcycles?
No, if you're like a domain expert or an automotive engineer at our company, of course you have to have the domain expertise. So you have to know about cars. For other positions, if you're an AI expert, you don't really need. So we already have a lot of automotive experience. So the AI experts don't really need that much automotive experience. It's already in the company. It's always good when they have that, but it's not a prerequisite. Also for other positions, yeah.
Let me do some mind reading. One of the ideal candidates would be an experienced AI engineer who has a private fable for cars.
Of course, yeah. But as I said, it's not a prerequisite. We also have people working here who are not very much interested in cars, but they do a great job in their field here. So
they come to work with the bicycle.
Yeah, there's some people don't own cars. Not everybody here owns cars. Yeah, so you don't have to be a petrol head.
Okay. We already talked also about open to talk to new investors. CFC is at one point on the horizon, and I do believe you would be open to talk to potential new investors, right?
Yeah, so of course we are always open to talking to investors. This is also a way to build our network there. So of course we were always open to talk to new investors. Since we closed the financing round right now, there is no need to talk about raising the next round, but it's still good to be in contact because raising financing rounds takes a long time, and it's always good to start early. Yeah.
And the last question, since this is in our series with the Hessen Trade and Invest and the Enterprise Europe Network, is there something like a question and concern, an idea you would like to address to the political decision makers here in our amazing state of Hessen?
Yeah, so we have a lot of people working for us who are not from Germany, so are from other countries, especially outside of Europe. It's hard to get people employed with a blue card. It takes forever to get an appointment at the government agencies like the Ausländerbehörde. So this is like a tedious and slow process which could be really sped up. Yeah. So this would help us because there are also a lot of capable people in other countries who are interested to come here and help a startup like us. So all this process could be much more streamlined.
Great. Rafael, it was a pleasure having you here, bothering you 35 minutes with question and all of that. Best of luck. Hope to have you back when you raise Series C funding.
Yeah, thank you. It was a pleasure talking to you.
It was all mine. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That's all, folks. Find more news, streams, events, and interviews at www.startuprad.io. Remember, sharing is caring.